So, if you're watching this, this means you are interested in speedrunning the 100% category for Bendy and the Dark Revival. You have no idea on the world of pain you are about to inflict upon yourself. But that's neither here nor there. Welcome to the next installment of this series with the one I promised at the end of my Shipwrecked video, Bendy and the Dark Revival. Now, originally this was supposed to just be the Lore Master category, where you just get all the memos and the audio logs, but I figured that would be weird if I just did that and not covered everything. So I will be covering the entire 100% category. Another category I haven't ran. But, you know, what are you gonna do? I guess I could run it, but I don't really feel like it right now. I don't really have that much of an intro this time, so, yeah. Welcome to So You've Decided to Speedrun, a guide to the 100% category of Bendy and the Dark Revival. So, before getting into the location of everything, I thought I'd go over what exactly we'll be looking at. The requirements for an 100% completion of Bendy and Dark Revival requires you to get all 34 of the game's memos, all 28 of the audio logs, all 10 of the memories, all 24 of the Illusion of Living books, all 3 of the Gent Pipe upgrades, as well as actually upgrading the Gent Pipe all the way, all 9 of the Ink Canister upgrades, find all 10 of the theMeatly cutouts, and then collect the robot toy from Sean Flynn. Not in that order. You will also enable to upgrade the Gent Pipe all the way, need 55 batteries, 23 toolkits, 2 battery casings, 70 Gent parts, and 4 ID cards, with the batteries being used for the various doors and whatnot, and the 4 ID cards used to get other collectibles. Now, I will not be going over the location of all of those parts. If you want, I could make a follow-up video on how this looks in a route. But for now, I'll just be covering the collectibles. For this video, I will be going over each collectible as they are listed in the Bendy and the Dark Revival 100% Guide Google Doc that can be found on the Speedrun.com page, which of course I will link in the description. And naturally, we'll be going chapter by chapter. So, starting off in Prologue, the first collectible we'll be grabbing, our first memo, is just on the desk to our left. Ignore that the desk is open. It's not. You're just hallucinating. Our second memo is just in this medicine cabinet. Our third collectible, which is our first Illusion of Living book, is just in this burst pipe. Right there. Our fourth collectible, which is the third memo, is just up the ladder in the next section on this desk. And our last collectible, that we can just grab one after each other, is our fourth memo, which is just on this metal barrel in front of the Wilson propaganda. Now, I should mention this specifically applies to Illusion of Living books. Unlike every other collectible in the game, you cannot view these from the main menu here. As you can see, like how you can see the memos we just grabbed. If you're wondering how exactly you are going to be able to prove to moderators that you've grabbed them all, I'll get into that more towards the end of the video, as it doesn't really apply until we've reached around the end of the game. But just keep in mind that for at least the Illusion of Living books, you're going to need to be keeping kind of a mental note of those, while if you've been going through the memos or the audio logs, you can kind of just quickly check the menu. After all of that, the fifth memo that you want to grab is just up the slope area on this crate. After that, our next two collectibles are in the room just after the jump scare where the Piper bursts through the vent like the imposter he is. The first one being our first audio log, which is just on the desk to your left. And afterwards is our first memory, which is like the second memo in this medicine cabinet. And rounding out the prologue is the sixth memo you want to grab, which is just after you get jump scared by the Piper and chased into the little miracle station. Which is very simple, it is just here to your right in this drawer. Going into Chapter 1, the first collectible, which is memo number 7, is just up the climbable brick wall with the Piper jump scare, right on the stool. And the next collectible, which is audio log number 2, is right in the room after the mirror, underneath this "Where is the Toy Man" graffiti. Next is audio log number 3, which is in the room just after putting in the door code. It is very simple. It's just here on this desk with the graffiti saying he sees everything. Eyeballs. My favorite part of the body. After that audio log, we'll be grabbing the first ink canister, which is in the next room after you've opened up the door to the employees' lockers. Just on this table, you all know this. You're basically instructed to grab this one. But also, after you grab this, you're going to want to put this one into stamina, because health really isn't that important. Next, audio log number 4 is in this room to Animation Alley on this crate by the lock you're instructed to unlock. Next up, audio log number 5 is just behind the atrium supply door on this little table near the Bendy plush. And afterwards, you can grab memo number 8, which is just in the next room on this table just before the door to where the Gent pipe is. Alright, so this next bit may be a bit confusing, but I want you to just bear with me. So, there are 5 collectibles we're going to be grabbing here. 1 audio log, 3 memos, and an ink canister. However, for the ink canister specifically, you gotta do a few side things to get it. So, just follow along with me. So, once you get your gem pipe, and you've killed the enemies, you're gonna wanna go left here, through this breakable wall next to the Bendy cutout, and then there we can get the 6th audio log, which is in this desk in the left drawer, and then get our 9th memo, which is in the filing cabinet. Then afterwards, what you want to do is go over to this poster of Bendy as a bee and hit it with the gem pipe. And this will reveal a little button. Then we click on the button, and we're going to need to do this 2 more times. But anyways, after that button, we go left through this breakable wall, and our 10th memo is just on this desk. After that, we leave the room, and we find our second poster that we gotta smash open. This one that says "Join Work, Trust in Joey." And then afterwards, we round back to the main area, smash open this breakable wall next to the barrel, and in here is both our 11th memo and the last button we need to click, behind this "Take 5 to Stay Alive" poster. After we get those, you should hear a little jingle and then see an autosave appear. That means we've done this right. So, once we've done that, we leave the room, and we're going to want to go all the way back to the little corridor in between this room and the room with the gem pipe. Go through here, and if we turn right to this gate, we can now open it up. Trying to open this beforehand will just have it be locked. Then we can go into this little small room, climb down this ladder, and at the bottom is the second ink canister upgrade, which, like the previous one, we're going to want to put into stamina again, because, once again, health really isn't that important. After that massive amount of stuff. The next thing we're grabbing is the second Illusion of Living book, which is just on this couch in the room with the giant puddle of ink. For memo number 12 is in the entrance to Animation Alley. It's very simple. It's just through the vent that leads to the switch to the security lock door on the stool next to the lever. Memo number 13 is in this vent just before you see the ink demon for the first time. It's just to the left behind this breakable grate. And the last collectible for Chapter 1 is our second memory, which is very simple. Just towards the end of Chapter 1, it is right here in this locker on the top shelf. To close out Chapter 1, I thought I'd show off some skips. Here's the first one you can do, which is in the room with the He Sees Everything desk, where we got the third audio log. So, normally you have to go down these stairs and climb up the brick wall, watch the climbing animation that you can't skip. But what you can do to save some time, which I'll try to perform, I will warn you, I'm not that good at it, is just jump at the bricks, and if you do this right, emphasis on do this right, because I find this trick very finicky, you can actually jump onto the bricks. And then from there, you can just jump up onto the ledge. Oh, nearly got there. Oh, there we go. I'll probably cut that down, but yeah, there we go. So that's what the trick is. For skip number 2 that you can do is in the Little Devil Lounge, when you have to go in here to get the fuse. It is pretty simple. You just start the cutscene as normal, go over to this stool, jump up on this counter, crouch, maneuver your way to the stood up chair here, drop down, and boom. You've skipped needing to hide from the lost one and can just grab the fuse lickety-split. Another skip you can do here is just after you've gotten your gem pipe. So, normally when you go to leave, there are a bunch of lost ones who rush down here to beat you up to kind of serve as a tutorial for the combat. But you can actually skip this by hugging this little divider, slipping into this little part here, and then you can just go through the breakable wall and skip needing to do that, as it skips the hitbox. Then, even better, you can just leave this area through the normal way, and go back to where you are, and the enemies will not spawn, since the trigger hasn't been hit. I will note, though, that is two ways, so once you get to a certain point, I believe past this art supply wall, then all of the enemies are going to spawn. So, yeah, I've only ever seen this used in my Lore Master run, and I think I saw it in an all Canister upgrades run for the category extensions. I've not really seen this used anywhere else, so I'm not really sure how helpful it is, but it is a skip. Moving on to Chapter 2, there are 21 collectibles we're going to want to grab. The first one being audio log number 7, which is in, the room with the grab the paintings mission. It's fairly simple. You just go forwards, then it's in this room to your right, and then from there it is to your right on this hiding spot. Afterwards is audio log number 8, which is in the same room as the third picture you're going to want to grab. It is very simple, although it does require one of the Gent keys that we need to grab, because it is in this safe and sound box, just on the bottom shelf. Do note, and this does apply with all of these, make sure you grab the collectible before you grab anything else that you might want to, which in this case is the sandwich and the slug. because collectibles do not count as something in these safe and sound boxes. So if you get everything, then it will close back up and you'll need to use another Gent card and able to get the collectible back. So make sure you grab the collectible before you grab anything else in there. In my case, it wouldn't really care because it's just a sandwich and some slugs. You wouldn't really be low in health in this room. But yeah. The last collectible for this section is the Illusion of Living book number 3, which is just in this, up there in that little crawl space, in the same room with the 4th picture, in that crate. Which, fun skip, you can actually get to without ever needing to go through the vent. If you just hop up onto this hiding spot, then hop onto the geometry here, you can actually open the crate and then grab the book by just jumping a bit. So that's pretty neat. And for an additional skip you can do, once you grab painting 4 and go to hide, you can actually get the last picture here. So then you don't have to hide from Bendy twice, because normally both pictures will cause an ink demon is coming sequence to appear. You're not allowed to laugh at that, by the way. If I find out you laugh out that, I'm going to come to your house, and I'm going to break your fridge. Yeah, try keeping your sodas warm now, bitch. After you finish up that sequence, the next collectible is Memo number 14, which is just in the room the Mad Painter was hiding in, after you've brutally killed him, of course, right on this crate. The next two are in the room with the 3 projectors and the door code puzzle. They are very simple. The first one is Memo number 15, which is just on this bench to the right by the projector screens. And the second one is audio log number 9, which is just on this end table between these two couches. Next is Illusion of Living book number 4, which is in the projector booth that you don't have to go into because you'll remember the door code. It is just to your left inside of this filing cabinet. Next up are audio log 10 and 11. They're pretty simple. Audio log 10 is just in the room after the security lock, just through this door on this table, in the same room where you can find Callie, or Shrieker. And the 11th audio log is just in the very next room on this Mel barrel. Next is audio log number 12, which is in the locker room. It's very simple, just from the entrance to your left in this laundry basket. If you're also curious, this is the audio log with the guy who's voiced by Dawko. And for a nice little skip, you can just flow through this little shelf thing so you don't have to go around. Nice. Our next 3 collectibles are in the second part of the locker room with the door code. They're very simple. The first one, which is our 5th Illusion of Living book, is just in this locker on the bottom shelf. In case you're having trouble remembering which locker it is, it's the third one to the right of the locker you can hide in. Afterwards is Memo number 16, which is right next to the security lock. And afterwards is our first Gent pipe blueprint, which is of course in the next room, and I don't really need to list this because this is a story-related one. You have to get this and able to continue because it gives you the ability to open the locked doors that require the electricity. Next is book number 6, which is just after the Gent lock door. It's very simple. It's literally just to your left on this couch. Or bench. I'm going to go with couch. I'm honestly never been sure what you would classify these as. They kind of remind me of bus seats, in all honesty. Moving on to the stuff for artist's rest. The first one is our second blueprint, which is just in the room with the keys to the crane. It's very simple, just on this desk. If I remember correctly, this is the one that gives you the ability to shock enemies. when you have your pipe charged up, so pretty neat. And then to upgrade it, you can just do it at this Gent upgrades station just behind it. You might want to have enough parts for it, though, unlike me. Next is memo number 17, which is just on the second level, right next to the hoist controls. Afterwards is audio log number 13, which is in the small room with the controls to the doors. It's right on the counter here. Our next two are book number 7 and memo number 18, which are in the sauna room. They're very simple. The book is in this locker on the bottom shelf again, is the one to your left nearest to the door. And then memo number 18 is just on the chair in the actual sauna. Do remember that this spawns an enemy who you need to then brutally beat to death with your beaten pipe, as you tend to do. But, yeah. And finally, our last three collectibles for both this section and all of Chapter 2 are just after you get up to the hoist to go to the elevators. Our first two are in this side area. Make sure you're crouched, by the way, to flow in here, or else you'll just kind of bounce off. And also, you gotta make sure you have the button in the side room set to upper beds. But anyways, the first one is our third memory, which is just in this trash can, closest to the door. I guess you can't skip that cutscene, but whatever. Afterwards is our third ink canister, which is just in the room with this balcony. For this one, you're not going to want to put this into stamina like the last two. Instead, you're going to want to put this into ability, since it speeds up the cooldown for your flow. And then our last collectible is in the actual elevators. I'll just load this autosave I got, so I don't have to... I didn't know this autosave happened in midair, but okay. But anyways, yeah, our last collectible, audio log 14, is just in the elevator's balcony area on this Mel barrel. Now that we're done with the collectible locations, I'll be talking about some tricks you can do in Chapter 2. First two being back at grabbing pictures for the Mad Artist. Now, I will be frank with you, I'm not that good at doing the tricks for not only just Chapter 2, but a lot of the ones from Dark Revival in general. They are very finicky, in my opinion. You may have figured that out if you had watched my Lore Master run, in which I barely used any tricks. That being said, if I can't do a trick from going on, I will simply just splice in some footage of what they look like. And I will be giving credit to whoever I took the footage from in the description and on screen. But anyways, the first trick you can do right here at this little dead end to skip needing to go into the vent, which I believe is to jump up on this desk, then jump up here, and then from what I've seen, you just kind of have to attempt to get on the geometry here. Kind of like the brick wall skip from Chapter 1. Like I said, I'm not good with this, and... Am I actually going to do it? Oh my god, I actually did it! Oh my god, I can't believe I actually did it. I'll be frank, I didn't expect me to do that. I... That's amazing. Okay, going out of excitement mode, yeah, that's what the trick is. If you clip yourself on the geometry, I believe it's kind of like this little ledge here, you can just kind of crouch, over this banister, which saves needing to go through the vent, get up to this little platform and then drop down. But, yeah, holy shit, I'm being serious. This is the first time I have ever been able to do this trick. I have never done that before. That was amazing. Moving on from my bewilderment at actually doing that speedrun trick, second one is also part of the pictures quest, but it's around when you grab number 4. Um, this one I'm honestly don't think I can do, but I've seen it done where apparently if you just kind of hit this wall, the gate at the right angle, you can just smash the lock open from this end. Which, like the other one, bypasses needing to go through the vent here and drop down from the grate up there. And like I had shown in the collectible thing, you can grab the Illusion of Living book up there just from the below section. So it does still save time in 100%. Although again, like the last one, until I had filmed that, I guess, I've never done this trick. And I have also seen an alternate one where you kind of do something similar, where you just kind of jump on stuff, get up to the geometry, and then just kind of crouch over this wall. Which I'm not really sure how you do. And also, I haven't really seen in a long time, so I think it's outdated. But, yeah, it involves this bulletin board, whatever the hell this is. And, yeah, as you can see, I'm not good, but I will be splicing in footage of both variants of this trick now.
No, the only thing bothering me is that freak 2 desks over. He's an real weirdo.
Yeah, that's what that does, and like I said, it skips needing to go through this vent, get up to that platform, and then drop into the room. So, yeah. I'm still in bewilderment I did that first trick. That was still so amazing. Our last trick can be done back at Artist's Rest. And it involves this, I guess, spawn point. So, like the previous one, I'm not really that good at doing this, but how the trick works is, like I'm doing, you can jump up onto the spawn point, then you just kind of do some stuff to get up on this port. And apparently what you can do is, once you're up here, if you've gotten it right to where Audrey's head clips through the ceiling, which I did not do right there, you can just kind of flow upwards out of the ceiling and up above. Which is good in this case, because right above this, if you did this right, is the elevators. Which, of course, skips needing to get the key, open the hoist controls, move the weird platform thing over here, flow up there, and then flow into the room. And like I said, I also suck at this. Although I've also never heard of this trick before I had seen it in the 100% world record, currently held by a Blaze Knight. So, if you want to see what that looks like, I will splice in some of that footage right now. Looks weird, doesn't it? But yeah, this does come at a few caveats. First one being, of course, if you've played the game, you know pipers have a chance to jump out of these and attack you, which is, of course, a time loss. And second, if you saw the collectible portion, you would know, yes, this does make it so you would have to come back for ink canister number 3 and memory number 3, since you cannot, in fact, flow into this room if you don't have the platform. And from where at least I've seen it in the 100% world record, this also meant a Blaze Knight had to come back for every other collectible here. As yes, they did not grab anything else here, including the second Gent pipe upgrade, the Illusion of Living book, and the 2 memos. I think the only thing they actually did grab was the audio log up there. So it does have its downsides, but it also has its upsides. Like I mentioned, you can literally skip a good portion of the game by doing this. So, yeah. But anyway, since that was the last trick here, we can now move on to the collectibles for Chapter 3. Now for Chapter 3, there are 13 collectibles you need to grab, and we'll be starting with our 8th Illusion of Living book and our 19th memo, which are both very simple. They're just through the Gent lock door at the beginning of Chapter 3. The book is to your left by this studio tour thing, inside this locker on the bottom shelf. Just make sure you crouch down to grab it. And as for the memo, it is to your right in the area you need to go to, right on this couch. Next up is memo number 20, which is just by the elevator door. We see the ink demon nomming on some guy. It's very simple. It's just to your left behind this breakable wall. And also for a fun trick you can do, as you know, once you get to this elevator and you see the ink demon, it starts in the ink demon is coming sequence where you have to hide. But for a little time save, instead of running all the way back upstairs to hide in the little miracle station or the barrel, for some reason you can actually just crouch right here in between the breakable wall room and the corridor, and for some reason this just lets the ink demon just pass by. He just sees this and says, "It's good enough, I'll piss off." Uh, yeah, I don't know why this works. My best guess is it's considered some kind of area where the ink demon can't reach you. Because I know sometimes a similar thing happens when you hide in, like, vents. Like in the ones in Artist's Rest. Some of them allow the ink demon to just pass by. But, yeah, nice little trick you can do. Next is book number 9, which is just after the King Willow fight. It's very simple. You just go down the corridor after the Gent lock door, turn right here, go to this sideways barrel, smash it open, and the book is just inside. A little bit after that is book number 10, which is just on this shelf before the ladder down to the sewers, right here at the very end. Our next two collectibles are in Joey's safe house, being Memo 21, which is right on his bed, and Illusion of Living book number 11, which is right here on Joey's shelf. Just after those two is Memo number 22, which is just outside the room with Joey's grave on this table. Then is audio log 15, which is in the room where you see the small Bendy run away. It's just to the right, in this little alcove, in between this pipe and this I-beam. Our next two collectibles are audio log number 16 and Incaster number 4, which can be gone in the first part of the sewers with the flooding ink puzzles. The audio log is very simple. You just, from where I'm standing, you simply go to this end right here with the lockers, make a left through this door, and then in this room you'll find this cutout of one of the Butcher Gang members, the Fisher one. So you're going to want to smash it apart, opens up this little alcove. then go through the alcove, and you'll find it right here on this desk. And then, for ink canister number 4, you're going to want to turn left from where you just got the audio log, and you'll find this lever. You're going to want to pull it, and this opens up a door in another part of this beginning area. So, you're going to want to leave, go to the other side of the room, and then through this door, closest one to the walkway, you go into this room, go right, past all of this, and there's another alcove, which had a security lock that was originally closed, but the lever opened it up. And then just through it is our ink canister, which, like the previous one, we're going to want to put into flow again, or ability, whatever you want to call it. Next is memo number 23, which is in the second part of the sewers, with the button that drains the ink. It's very simple, just go right by that Lord of Muck Rules banner, past the Gent sign, and it is right here, in this dead end on the metal barrel. And our last collectible grabbed for Chapter 3 is Memo 24, which is just in the room after the sewer puzzle on this metal barrel, just before the fight with Lord Amok. Wrapping up Chapter 3, I will cover the only skip I have seen used in the Chapter 3 segments during 100%. And it involves the elevator and the Ink Demon. So, first off, I thought I'd show, this is what that weird glitch with the memos looks like. Yep. See, I'm alive. And anyways, for the actual skip, first off, you'll need a fully charged Gent pipe for this. So make sure you do that at the beginning area. And second, what the glitch is you need to kind of maneuver yourself very weirdly in here so you can hit the button to go up, but not be in the actual elevator. There we go. If you hit it right, you'll be outside the elevator, but still trigger it. And then what you need to do is run all the way to that Gent lock door, back in this area. Open it up with the pipe. And then, once it's open, load the autosave that this makes. And what this does is it skips the elevator ride, so you don't have to wait through that unskippable cutscene. I will note, though, you gotta be quick with doing these things, as you can see, because I have frequently gotten crashes. Well, not crashes, but soft locks with this. Hey, so, editing Orpal here. While I was editing this segment, I had looked at the world record for 100%, and I actually found out you also need to reload the autosave again, or at least that's what Blaze Knight did. And I'm pretty sure this is what makes it so the weird glitches don't happen. Now, don't quote me on that, but I'm fairly certain that's what we were doing. So, I thought I'd just let you know. So, back to past Orpal. So, yeah, this is to be used, I guess, sparingly. Because, like, as you can see, I can't attack now. And I actually had one where instead of going to this, it sent me back to the upstairs one. And after this, what happened with me is it essentially just took me to a black screen. I could hear stuff going on, but I couldn't see anything. And after I loaded the autosave, I was unable to pause the game anymore. So, yeah, I'm not gonna pretend like I know why this does what it does, but I have seen it used in the current world record, so I guess I'll just put what it kind of looks like on screen now. Yeah. So take this with a grain of salt. And I don't know, it was the only thing I could think of to put in here. But hey, with that done, let's move on to the next chapter. For chapter 4, there are 18 collectibles we'll be needing to grab, and our first one is audio log number 17, which is very simple. It's just down here in the city, inside of this jalopy over here, just in the passenger seat of it. Next is memo number 25, which is a story progression one, so I don't really need to talk about where it is. But for a fun trick you can do, once you get the task to find the ID card, instead of, following Bendy and opening all the stuff to look for it, you can just skip all that by running towards where the memo is. Which for some reason you've just decided to watch this without playing the game, it's in this trash can. Which you can't open until Bendy points at it with his pointing finger. Next is audio log number 18, which is in the second part of the city where the downside hotel is. It's very simple. You just go forward from the dark and foreboding alleyway, and it's right here on top of this bench. And wrapping up the city section is Illusion of Living book number 12, which is in the hotel room with the Gent ID card. It's pretty simple. It is just in this safe and sound box on the bomb shelf. And again, like I mentioned with the audio log back in chapter 2, make sure you get the book before you collect anything in the safe and sound box because it does not count for keeping the thing open. So once you got everything in there, and it will just close up, and then you'll have to use another key card to get the book out. And that's no good. Our next three collectibles are all in the Chapter 1 of Bending the Ink Machine flashback. They're very simple. The first one's memory number 4, which is to your right, down the corridor that leads to the ink machine. All you gotta do is look up towards this hole in the ceiling, flow up to it, crouch to get underneath the random pipe that's there for some reason, and is right here on this crate. Cutscenes again, Unskippable cutscenes, don't you love them? Anyways, afterwards, you drop back down, and then we'll go for audio log number 19, which is just back in the area with Joey. Go over to this hole in the ceiling, flow up to it, make sure you jump to actually make it up here, and it's just in this desk. And then our last collectible is Illusion of Living book number 13, which is simple. You just drop back down. You have to jump over this, by the way, to get over it. Go back into the main area here, and it's just underneath this desk next to Joey. Also, pro tip, always save for this, just to make sure you can come back to it, because these are the only three collectibles in the game where if you miss them, you can't go back for them, since this is the only time you ever go to this flashback. So if you miss either that memory, that audio log, or that book, you're fucked. So make sure you save here. Now, after you've completed your Vietnam flashback, the next collectible we'll be grabbing is Canister number 5, which is back in the first part of the city, just through this open door to the Good Tower Cafe on this weird hangy table thing. And of course, we're going to want to put this one into ability again, which will, in fact, max out our abilities. So the recharge of flow will now be at its quickest. The next two collectibles are in the Gent workshop building itself. The first one is audio log number 20, which is just on this metal barrel as soon as you go through the door. That is also the one that was voiced by Super Horror Bros. Mike. And then for the book, which is our 14th one, it is just behind the receptionist's desk on this shelf behind the books. Next up is audio log number 21, which is in the first section with the keeper. It's just on this desk next to the lever you gotta pull and able to get to the next section. Our next two collectibles are in the second section with keepers. The first one being audio log number 22, which is pretty simple. Just after you enter this room, you go to your right and go up the ladder you see. I'm up here, by the way, to avoid the keeper, so, do as I say, not as I do. And then once you're up the ladder, you just go to your right from there, and the audio log is right here on this desk. And then our next collectible, which is memo number 26, is just over there on that platform. You can get to this from a number of ways, including jumping across these weird silos, or flowing across. But a bit of a more easier way is just to go to this side room, jump up onto the railing here, and then jump over and flow to it. And yeah. And then for the actual memo, it's just right behind the boxes. Our next three collectibles are in this unsafe area on the little walkway here, where you can find Heidi. They are very simple, but first we're going to need to go forwards in this room, enable to trigger a cutscene, and get this guy to appear. This is Big Steve, and he, in fact, opens up our first Strangers and Freaks mission, Grassroots Audrey. Because, as we all know, every game needs to have a Grassroots side mission. It's the law. And if you know any game that does not have a Grassroots side mission, then please report the developers of that game to your local police force so they can be violently executed by the state. But anyways, for the actual collectibles, they're pretty simple. They're just up this ladder, and they're literally all right after each other. Our first is our 27th memo, which is just on the Mel barrel. Then is the 23rd audio log on the desk here. And then the 6th ink canister upgrade, which is on the desk adjacent to audio log number 23. And since we maxed out ability with the previous ink canister upgrade, this one will be putting into stamina, which also coincidentally maxes out our stamina, so we'll now be running at the quickest we can run in this game. Oh yeah, and as for Grassroots Audrey over here, don't worry about that for now. We'll be coming back to Barry and his mind-altering weed. Next is Illusion of Living book number 15, which is on the second level of the Cycle Breakers cells. It's pretty simple. You just go over to the table with the contraband items, and it's right over here in between this stack of boxes and the Mel barrel. And our last collectible for Chapter 4 is in the room that actually ends Chapter 4, the entrance to the pit. It's very simple. It's just towards the top left of the room on this Mel barrel. It is the milk carton here, which of course reminds Audrey of the milk that her dad said he left to get, along with a pack of cigarettes. But anyways, off of that tangent, this finishes out Chapter 4. So let's get on to the last chapter in the game. Now for the last chapter of the game, Chapter 5, which only has 9 collectibles we need to grab in the run. The first being Audio Log 24, which is very simple. Once you've gotten the task to go find a Gilson, just from Audrey's room, you go left, and then you go left again, and it's right here on this couch. Next is Illusion of Living book number 16, which is in the library. It's very simple. It's just to your left on this shelf from the entrance. Next is Incaster number 7, which is during the Alice Angel boss fight. It's very simple. Just in the room with the first lever you gotta hit, that drops the crane. If you look to your left, there's a breakable wall, which you can smash open naturally. And behind it is our Incaster,
which naturally is going to want to go into the only other thing that needs to be upgraded, health. Next is Illusion of Living book number 17, which is also in the Alice Angel boss fight. It is just over on that shelf near where the first stack of boxes you drop down is. Right there. Next is Memo number 28, which is just after the Alice Angel boss fight. It's very simple. You just go down the corridor that you spawn in front of, go to the left, and it's right here on this end table. Our next collectible, audio log number 25, also comes with a little trick. Now, it is right after the memo we just grabbed in this big room, just before the first keeper section. And normally when you run through here, flow gets disabled until you disable a signal tower later in the level. Which is nice, except for the fact that the audio log is all the way up there. Which normally means you either have to backtrack here once you've gone flow, or at least die, since there's a linker up there. But for a nice trick, since the trigger to take away flow doesn't get enabled as soon as you leave the hiding spot, or the crouching area, whatever the hell you want to call this, you can just flow up there before flow gets disabled. Which is nice. And then, yeah, the audio log's just on the table up here. Our next two collectibles, which are Memo number 29 and Memo number 30, are both in the room where you find the music box. Now, as you can see, Memo number 29 is just on the ground floor, on this metal barrel near the Miracle Station. And Memo number 30 is just up the ladder, just behind this crawling area on the footstool. And our last collectible for Chapter 5 is Illusion of Living book number 18, which is close to the entrance to the area with the second music box piece. It is very simple. From facing the entrance, it is to your left, right on top of this dresser. So with that, we are done Chapter 5. Now, while that does it for all of the main chapters in the game, as you can tell by how much video there is left, we ain't exactly done yet. We still have 32 collectibles we need to grab. And the reason for that decently sized number is mainly theMeatly cutouts. Now, if you've never played Bendy in the Dark Revival before, I find it odd that you've watched a nearly hour-long video on it, on speedrunning it, but I commend you for it. And, to catch you up, the 10 Meatly cutouts in the game, which you need for the 100% completion, as according to the rules, only spawn once you've gotten to the point of no return in the game. Which doesn't happen until you get down to Wilson's laboratory for the final boss fight. So, because of that, and the fact that there were 10 of them, which are sprawled all throughout the rest of the building, we got a lot of backtracking to do. Combine that with stuff such as collectibles that need either a fully charged gem pipe or flow to get to, which naturally you need to unlock, and Big Steve Strangers and Freaks mission on calculated risk. Yeah, a lot of backtracking we gotta do. And on the topic of that, well, I did mention Big Steve Strangers and Freaks mission, Vinewood Souvenirs The Last Act, earlier. He isn't the only character to have one. Because Betty also has one, Exercising Demons Audrey. Which, yeah, that's why I'm recording this in the retreat. I just didn't exactly know how else to bring this up. But, yeah, with all the preamble done, let's get on to the final stretch. So, actually starting off with the post-game collectibles, the first one we'll be grabbing is our first Meatly cutout, which is back in the room with the Alice Angel boss fight. It is very simple. Back towards the left stack of boxes, near where the Illusion of Living book was, it is right over here by the sofa. And this goes for all of the Meatly cutouts, but every single one of them is behind a sheep song poster with Boris the Wolf, just like in the original game. Next is Meatly cutout number 2, which is back in the room that had the audio log with the skip. It is fairly simple, just before where the entrance to the Keep a Stealth section is. It's right behind this torn up poster by the chair. Our next two collectibles, which are Memo number 31 and Illusional Living Book number 19, will be gone when you're heading to the train station to get back to the Inkscape. The Memo is just to your right on track 77, right on this bench underneath the poster of the Pretty Lady, as Wally Frank says. And then our Illusion of Living book is in the actual one with the train, which just needs you to hop over that banister and is in the middle locker here on the bomb shelf, next to the paint can. Once you've gone off the train, you can get Memory number 6 and Illusion of Living book number 20, which in the order I listed, Memory number 6 is just to your right inside of this big locker. It's the hat on the middle shelf. Don't you just love unskippable cutscenes? They're the best. Okay, it's over. And Illusional Living book number 20 is to your left on the bench underneath the Wilson propaganda. Next is Meatly cutout number 3, which is in this small area, a little bit after the ladder back up here from chapter 3. It is just to your right behind this scratched up poster. Next is Memory number 7, which is back in the King Willow boss fight area. It's pretty simple. You just gotta look up towards the area where Audrey got dropped down. Flow up to this little ledge over here to climb up it. Then flow up to this little crawl space. And then from the crawl space, look right, break open the breakable wall, crawl through, drop down into this little small alcove, and right in it is the memory, which is the alarm clock on the small little alcove shelf. Next is Meatly cutout number 4, which is back in the area where we got the hoist keys and Artist's Rest. It is very simple, back towards where you got the second Gent pipe blueprint. It is just behind this Boris cutout. Or Boris poster, I mean. And then also, this is when you're finally going to want to actually install the second Gent pipe upgrade. The shock pipe. Yeah, these upgrades really do not play into the game that much for speedruns specifically. Next is Meatly cutout number 5, which is back in the locker room, just by the They Crawl graffiti. It's to your right by this dumpster and this weird bench thing. Gonna want to flow in though because of the blockage. Next is Meatly cutout number 6 and Canister upgrade number 8, which are back in the room with the big chasm near where you helped Porter out. They are very simple. Once you get to the Machine Must Endure graffiti by the big pipes over here, you just go into this little alcove with the flooded ink room. You turn right, Meatly cutouts right behind the Boris poster, and then the ink canister upgrade is just in the next room. Very close to where you help Porter out, this little door will be open. For some reason, even though originally when you went through here, it was closed. It's best not to ask about it. But behind that door is our ink canister upgrade, which again we're going to want to put into our health, since there is no other category to upgrade. Our next two collectibles are back in Heavenly Toys, which just needs you to flow up to this balcony up here. The first one is Memo number 32, which is just in this locker. And the second one, which is our last ink canister upgrade, is just behind the locked gate, which just needs the code put in. I'm sorry if I seem a little off, by the way. It is 10 p.m. I'm getting tired, but I really want to get this done. But yeah, once you put in the code in, it opens up a door on the other end. So then once you've done that, you just gotta carefully flow over to the next area. And then boom, our last ink canister upgrade is just on the table there. Which, I say for the third time, since there's nothing left to upgrade, you put into health. Next, we have 4 whole collectibles we can get in a row, which are on the opposite balcony in Heavenly Toys, the one you normally go to. These being Memo number 33, Audio Log number 26, Meatly Cutout number 7, and Illusion of Living Book number 21. First off, from the memo, just right of where the climbable wall is. It is right in this desk, inside the drawer. Then the audio log. You just go down these stairs, a little more to the right, and it's just in this little alcove on this chair. The Meatly Cutout is right behind the Boris poster in that same alcove. And then for the Illusion of Living Book, it is just inside of this barrel, which you need to smash open. Next up is memory number 8 and the robot toy, which are back in the room with the mirror that kicked this whole video off. Just to the left of it is this grate, which you need to flow through. To great annoyance. I'm telling you, I fucking hate that. But anyways, once you're in, the memory is this paper airplane on the metal barrel with the 2 candles on it. And then the robot toy is just behind the Bendy cutout. So, yeah. Next up is audio log number 27 and Illusion of Living Book number 22, which are fairly close to this little balcony from the He Sees Everything desk. It's very simple. Back towards this area where you had to drop down here to pull a lever to open a door, you can flow over into this little alcove, and both the audio log and the Illusion of Living Book are right on the desk in the little alcove. Also, for that random person who watched an hour-long video on a game he's never played, that's the audio log that tells you about the robot toy we had to collect. It's a secret thing. I'm so fucking tired. Next up is actually something we need to do for Big Steve Strangers and Freaks mission, pulling favors again. Back in this hallway, near where you got the fuse out of the birthday cake, you can turn right to this little area by the kitchen and flow through it, provided you don't mess up the flow like me. There we go. Yep, you can flow into this little small area, and in this area, you'll notice inside of this pan is a beating heart. We need to get that heart and give it to Big Steve, enabled to complete Vinewood Souvenirs Willy. But also from this, we can actually get our final memo in the game, which is in the actual room with where we got the fuse. This one's simple. From there, there's a Gent lock door that we need a fully charged pipe for. So, store one before you get here. And then just behind it is the last memo right on top of this desk. Next up is Meatly Cutout number 8, which is in this little side room with the button behind the B poster and the audio log from Grant Cohen. It's literally right behind this Bendy Boris poster, in between the filing cabinet and the button. This one has some food. Next is Meatly Cutout number 9, which is back in this alleyway that leads to the motel that you go to for the Gent ID card. It's very simple. just around this point here, right before the entrance, you can see a Boris poster on one of the buildings. So you just flow up to it, and the theMeatly is right in there. After the theMeatly cutout, there's an extra thing we're going to want to grab for one of the Strangers and Freaks missions on Knowing the Truth, which is just back in the main part of the city at the farmer's market. It is this box of live content, so I have no idea what's meant to be in here. I bet it's tasty, though. But yeah, we're going to want that for Betty's Strangers and Freaks mission, Chasing the Truth. Afterwards is our last of the Gent pipe schematics, which is back in the room with Big Steve, and it involves that heart we grabbed. So, what we gotta do is just give Big Steve the beating heart to complete his side mission, Rampage Hipsters. And afterwards, he moves out of the way of this door, which, after we flip the lever over here to open it up, has a safe and sound box, which, once we open up using our card, gives us our last schematic. Just also loot the safe and sound box if you feel like it, though. You don't have to. I'm not your mom. I am your dad, though. And to go with our last gem pipe schematic, we also have our last of the theMeatly cutouts, which is in the first area with a keeper from the Gent workshop building. It's very simple. It is just behind that door with the Boris poster on it. And then while we're also here, you're going to want to go over to this upgrade station to install the last of the Gent pipe upgrades. Provided you have enough parts, that is. I sure don't. Next up is memory number 9, which requires us to finish Betty's Strangers and Freaks mission, Paparazzo the Sex Tape, which involves that thing we got back at the Ink City. The memory is very simple. Once you complete Betty's side quest, Strangers and Freaks mission, Minuteman Blues, the memory spawns in Wilson's Fountain. I got the third gem pipe upgrade off screen, by the way. That's just in case someone accused me of this. For the love of God, cut away. Next is Illusion of Living book number 23, which is in the stairwell leading to Wilson's laboratory around the 4th bend. It's very simple. Just by the tipped over metal barrel with all the colorful splotches on it. If you look behind the barrel, you'll find it. Next is our last Illusion of Living book, which is back at the entrance to Wilson's laboratory. It's very simple. You just turn around from the entrance, and it is in this locker to the right on the middle shelf. And now, with that, I'm going to show what I touched on earlier, like an hour ago, on how you're going to show moderators you have all the books. So, back in Wilson's stairwell, I just loaded this. On one of the bends, around near where the bottom is, you'll find this little thing. A chair sat in front of 3 pipes. What you want to do is save here. After you've gotten all the books, you can just run back here. You save over it, and then you just sit in the chair. If you do have every Illusion of Living book, this will trigger a sort of fake joke ending where Audrey ends up in an insane asylum. Now, naturally, since I made this save file before I got the 24th book, so it doesn't trigger. So you're gonna have to trust me on this. But yeah, once you have all of the books, you just sit in the chair, and if you've gotten them all, you'll get the ending that will prove to moderators that you've done it. As for the Meatly cutouts and the robot toy, there isn't really a thing like this. Although moderators and the Google Doc that I'd been following for this do say it is a wise idea to re-disable any achievements that are related to the collectibles, because naturally once you've gotten them all, it will pop. So, yeah, I'd recommend doing that for, really just any of the achievements. Hey, editing Oracle again. So originally I let this clip kind of go on for a while, trying to explain all the, achievement related stuff to let moderators know you got all the collectibles. But then I realized I was a nutcase and none of that made sense whatsoever. Which I guess is what happens when you decide to power through recording the rest of your video at like 11 p.m. at night. When you were getting very, 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 very tired. So, main important things. There's a link to a tool you can use to wipe your achievements in the description called Steam Achievement Manager. And I'll also, in the description, put a full list of all the related, collectible-related achievements for you to, wipe, I guess, is the best word for it. Our last two things we gotta grab are our last memory and last audio log, which are actually after the point of no return. So, once you walk to Wilson's laboratory, skip the cutscene, you can grab them. The audio log, one of them, yeah, here we go. The memory is just in this locker on the top shelf. It is the hot dog. Just back to where the cutscene pushes you with Wilson's dismembered limbs. And the audio log is just by the door you gotta go through on this cabinet. And with that, you should be done. Make sure, even with the achievement thing I mentioned, you go through all your memos and all of your audio logs to make sure you aren't missing any. Ditto with the memories. And then your Gent pipe is completely upgraded, so it has the little antenna for the keeper shock thing that, I will be honest, I've literally never used a single time in this game whatsoever. And yeah, you should be good. And with that, a moldy hot dog in one of our hands, and a cassette player with voices from some guy you've never met in the other hand, we've come to the end of our video. While I'll admit it kind of started to fall apart around the end because of my progressive tiredness, I do hope this video helps you with your 100% speedruns. I'll be honest, while working on this video, I did find the Google Doc guide attached to the speedrun.com page to be a little bit unhelpful, mostly due to the fact it's a little vague on the location of things. Hey, that's why I made this series. And I do want to make this apparent. This video and that Google Doc are not the end-all be-all for this. Feel free to experiment with whatever works with you in terms of routing. Hell, I'm pretty sure the actual world record for 100% doesn't even follow this Google Doc. That kind of says something. But with that, I do believe we've come to the end of our time. I'm not quite sure what the next topic will be for this recurring series. Maybe I'll put out a YouTube poll to decide the next one. But with that, I leave you to it. If it's your birthday today when watching this video, then happy birthday to you, and I bid you Edu.